I'm a human, man. So it's like, first of all, I'm learning more and more not get involved in the comment section. Don't go in there, especially when, like, you know, because at first I might drop a piece of content and the first hour I'm in the comments, but then by the end of the day it's got like 1,000 comments and it's actually impossible or to even engage in it. And my life, and I recognize it, I don't do it on purpose, but if there was a stampede, yeah, this is like the average NPC or the person that doesn't even know what's happening in this world. If there was a stampede of buffalo, I'm like standing on my own, facing it, walking into it. That's how it feels, my life. And any trailblazer or black sheep like me will know what I mean. Society is heading this way and doing everything that the government's saying, and we're like the one person saying no. And so there's gonna, for instance, if I say the day that Henry Nowak's story came out, I said, oh, it's a lie. Yeah. Or the day George Floyd went, I was like, oh, he's an actor, he's a Freemason, look at his tattoo. I said it the very first day.
What's up, guys? I hope you're all well. Welcome back to another episode of the Podghost podcast. Today's podcast, guys, I've got someone on who I reached out to myself not too long ago, came across his videos, and I genuinely really wanted him on. And luckily for me and luckily for the Podghost, we've got him on today. So I'd like to bring onto the show Indigo. Thank you so much for coming down, brother.
Yazz, thank you. Thank you. It's a beautiful opportunity just to be able to speak man to man, heart to heart. So yeah.
Thank you, bro. You know what, bro? I have to start off by saying your energy. When I first saw your videos, bro, I don't normally say this a lot, you know, on my channel, but your energy got to me, bro. And I love the way you came across, and it was respectful. I don't feel like you were being rude, or a lot of people nowadays, to get attention, they revert to being rude, and shouting and swearing and stuff. And people, you know, they give them attention. But with you, bro, it came across brilliantly.
Thank you.
Scripted. I don't know how you come across with your, you know, your content, but yeah, credit to you, brother.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bro, I want to start off, Indy. For people that don't know, is it right to call you Indy or?
Yeah, Indy's perfect. Yeah, my family.
Oh, brilliant. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Indy, I want to start off by speaking to you about your early years, because you haven't spoken much about you growing up. I know you were a model.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I do know. So tell us more about you growing up, bro. How was it? What sort of environments were you around? Stuff like that?
So I grew up in Mitcham, which is kind of Surrey, the edge of South London. Growing up mixed race is interesting. It's a challenge. You don't fully fit in anywhere totally. You know, when my mother's side of the family is Australian, and I actually found out only recently. I don't really speak to that family anymore, but there was a lot of racism that happened in my and I didn't even realise. They would always make me sit at the end of the table, for instance, and they would tell me that that's where the king would sit. But actually, they wanted me and my brother away from them at the family parties, and so like growing up was I've realised in hindsight it's quite it's been interesting. I'm like a street kid, but like I never was fully like a trapper. But I grew up in that kind of environment, you know, just on the roads. And I was kind of like the popular kid in school, but not too popular. I was cool with the geeks. And I studied theatre. I loved acting, actually. Yeah. So I went on to college in Richmond, and I did a theatre, and media and photography. So I was always into that kind of creative things. And then basically, when I was 17, my mum moved to Grenada with my brother. She moved to another country, and I was here by myself. And I, at that moment, became a model. So I was signed as a model, but I was now living on my own. And I was living in kind of bad circumstances. There's a few documentaries about my life, actually, about this time. I was living in basically trap houses. I wasn't told that that was the house. The landlords had lied, and I've gone into these houses, and it's like, you know, loads of people living there, all being sublet. So I kind of became the guy that all the friends would come to my house because there was no parents. Yeah, and I was there, you know, everyone smoking, chilling, relaxing. And I've realized recently as well, wow, how different my life was to all of my friends. They've kind of gone on and got mortgages and really gone into the system and got married and had children and in hospitals. And these are all things that I now realize I'm really actually fighting against. Not that there's anything bad with having a house or having children in a hospital, but there's a new way of doing it and a sovereign way, which we'll go into later.
Of course.
And so that was kind of my upbringing. And then in 18, I got signed as a model.
Brilliant.
First job was for Converse, and it was I've had a pretty amazing 20s. I'm 33 in about 2 months. My whole 20s, I was climbing the ranks as what I would say is one of the most successful mixed race models in Europe at the time, actually.
Wow.
I'd opened up big shows in Milan as a man for Women's Week, which is kind of like unheard of. You know, walked catwalks in front of the big celebrities, and that's, my eyes opened a lot then. I saw a lot of darkness, a lot of human trafficking, a lot of that kind of stuff, and a lot of conversations that were being had at the top by the people that were in control, they were speaking about stuff like the 15-minute cities. Have you ever heard of this concept now, that the 15-minute cities?
Yep.
This was almost 10 years ago. Transhumanism, basically the Third World War. These are topics that people were speaking about. And it's only when you get to the top of the industry and everyone's like, taking drugs and you realize, and they're like letting things slip. So like my 20s was, I was a model I almost feel like I was a spy, and I also became a Buddhist. So when I was 21, I became a Buddhist. I'm a follower of Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, which is true Buddhism. Nothing to do with the Dalai Lama, and he's a nasty character, and he was like putting his tongue in a child's mouth recently. I don't know if you saw that. It was all over the internet.
I did.
He's been accepting money from different cults, and people need to investigate who he is. Maybe he's the clone. I don't know if he's the same person anymore. I don't know, but that's practicing Buddhism in a way where you're just like at the top of the mountain, separating yourself from life. That is not what Shakyamuni Buddha wanted. Actually, we have to be warriors. You have to be able to actually face the darkness of the times and alchemize it and survive, not passively just kind of like be distant from it. So there was a monk called Nichiren Daishonin, and I follow his teachings. So I was like the Buddhist who was also the face of like JD Sports. I would be like being manhandled by Vivienne Westwood, like I'm a piece of meat. And then I'm going into the Buddhist center, like being told that I'm the king of kings and like the whole universe is inside you. So there was that kind of conflict going on in my 20s.
Wow. That's mad, bro. It's not an everyday story you hear from people, bro. I've got to be honest with you. That's partly why I feel your vision, when people speak to you straight away, they get this feeling of you're just one of them people that brings positivity, bro, and a lot of good energy. Now, moving on, bro, I know you spoke about Buddhism, so it must mean something to you, like, religion and culture means to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Have you ever found, like, practicing Buddhism has stopped you from a lot of opportunities?
Has it stopped me from opportunities? It's changed my moral compass, so I would no longer partake in things I wouldn't had if I didn't have things I cared for more. So, for instance, there's a concept called Kosen Rufu, which is the transformation of the world by each individual person having an enlightened moment, like each person recognizing how sovereign and amazing they are. It's called like the great human revolution, That's more important to me than, for instance, being the face of Nike, when I started to realize that the Nike tick was actually a symbolic image of the rings of Saturn. And the people that run this world, they're all Satanists and they pray to the sixth planet, and everything you'll start to see, a lot of symbology has these kind of swishes, and it actually represents Satanism. So I'm realizing now, do I want to be the face of this brand when I know what this symbology really means, but it means I'm going to be successful, I'm going to have money, girl, fame, or do I want to start chanting in Brixton on my own when no one's there as a Buddhist, but I know that's actually my real calling, and to help as many people have that light switch moment. One flame, by the way, can light a million other flames, just one. If there's a million candles unlit and I've just got one flame, I can light a million from my one flame. Do you know how powerful that is? And so I started to realize, first of all, how dark the industry is. And we'll go into how dark, by the way. If you're into Balenciaga, any of them kind of dirty, disgusting brands, you're supporting the transportation of children. This is all facts, by the way, and out there. So it's like, that system's dying. I love modeling, by the way. I'm a Leo, so I like the attention. I like being loud and having someone do my nails and my hair and all of that. It's cool. But and I want to return to it, but I want to do it when there's strong foundations and people have been exposed that need to be exposed. And there's so many photographers out there that are like taking photos of models and selling it on the black web. That's happened to me. There's such a darkness people don't know about. So it's not really a safe place I would want my younger generations to go into. I would so many people are like, my son wants to model, like what agency? And I say, boy, I think you need to wait for Babylon to burn and crash first, because otherwise you're giving your child to Satan, really,
Wow, you set back with that, I'll be honest to you. A lot of the stuff, ordinary people like myself who don't know much about, we read the conspiracies, we read the theory, the TikToks that are coming out now, because I do believe social media, especially the shorts that we were talking about before, I believe they are giving us a little bit of an insight of what actually goes on.
For sure.
Like you mentioned about the Balenciaga stuff, that went massive. And I remember me sitting there and my missus goes, you're not wearing that Balenciaga t-shirt anymore. I was like, it's my favourite one.
Big up the missus.
Yeah, bro, respect.
The divine feminine, they know, because it's children.
Yes, bro. And honestly, then I looked into it and bam, stopped wearing it, got rid of it, sold it, gave it away. I got rid of the whole thing. And she said to me, you know what? You have to understand what we're wearing and what we're representing. It's a cult, bro. And I want you to go more into that, bro, because I know this has been going on for centuries. It hasn't just happened now. Why do you think now it's come to the surface and people are now understanding it more? Do you think it is people like yourself who are going online and giving people an in-depth understanding of these rituals and stuff like that? I want you to elaborate on that a little bit more, bro.
I can tell you my personal opinion on why this is happening, which is from an astrological perspective, we've moved into a sun cycle, so their time is over. And so, okay, imagine there's a glass of water, okay? And, sorry, this is a cup, and it's just dirt at the bottom of the cup, just like a bit of sediment, yeah? We're moving into a time now where this conversation is like the presence of the Most High, right? You can tell there's something higher, there's a high frequency to this convo, and there's a healing and there's a truth to it, yeah?
Yep.
So this conversation is like pouring fresh water into this cup, but remember, there's dirt at the bottom. So at first, what happens is the dirt alchemizes with the water and it becomes cloudy. So right now, we're in the cloudy, turbulent times because the darkness has always been here. For the last 2,000, 3,000 years, they've been controlling us through this satanic way, yeah? And we're moving to a time now of community and love and peace, but we have to see the darkness surface. We have to see, for instance, if you're a parent, you need to know that you're not a parent. A parent is a word in the Black Law Dictionary for a pair that rent their child back from the government because you actually gave your child to the government when you registered your child with a birth certificate. You're actually the creator of your child. Your child is actually your offspring. So as more and more people learn about this stuff, we're going through this murky time, but first of all, for the people that are aware of this, we know that there's beauty on the other side, but we have to let the darkness surface because if you are a creator and you gave your child away to the system, even if it was ignorantly, we have to undo that now. You can't just pray for some deity to arrive and suddenly it's all just going to be cool because everything is cause and effect. We've created causes and there's going to be an effect from that. So if you know, all right, this country is actually called Albion. It's not called the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is a corporation. Albion is actually the land, yeah? When you're born, if you register your child to that system, if after 7 years, if you don't claim your child back, your child is considered dead and lost at sea under maritime law because they've made the law of this country based on maritime law, which is the law of the water. So when you're registering your child, it's considered lost at first, yeah? And this is all to do with 1666, the Great Fire of London. There was a massive fire and then people were like considered lost and dead. So people have to research that yourself. After 7 years old, if your parents aren't aware of the knowledge I've just told you and reclaimed your child's sovereignty back from the system, you now become a parent that rent that child from the system and they own your child. If you gave your child a heel prick test, you heard of that?
Yep, of course I have.
That is the Vatican now owns your child because that DNA and genome, it goes to the Vatican and they take a prick of blood from the soul of your child, which represents the soul of the child. Yeah, the sole of the foot represents the soul of the child. They now own the spiritual genome. So I've gone through processes where you can get this back, but it requires, for me as a spiritual person, I'm not about this love and light and spirituality and let's all clap and pray and do Hare Krishna and wait for stars to come. I'm about the path. You have to walk through the thick bush and recognize the causes that we've made. Even if it's ignorantly, this universe don't care about good or bad. It's just happened. The cabal, the Freemasons, whatever you want to call them, they've just manipulated us, but it's a free will universe and we've allowed it to be manipulated. So I now, if I was to be with a partner, I'm gonna free birth my child, and I'm gonna do it in a safe way. But I'm not gonna register my child when I know what it means. Why would I do that now? Why would I give my child away to the Vatican when you know? And so we have to co-create a whole new paradigm, and it's a big job, my brother. It's like it'll be your children and your children that continue this. But we're at that shift. So that's why so much darkness is surfacing now, because we look at the Palestine thing. That's 70, 80 years old. But yet now it's really surfacing, you know?
Yeah, everyone's talking about it now and not before. That's mad, bro. Because you know what? A lot of this stuff I've always said to you, even off camera, I said to you, as much as people are understanding and learning about it, it is still a part where people still don't understand exactly why this sort of stuff is now becoming more evident than ever before.
Yeah.
And I've always put it down to social media, but like you said before, I do believe a lot of people are now starting to understand. That's why, you know, your following has gone so big. And congratulations on that, brother. You know, you've been on this journey for quite a while now. And the fact that you're coming out with these things and you can say, I said all this stuff such a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I feel like now you're starting to win over an audience because people understand what you're saying. And me, I'm one of them, bro. I never used to believe in a lot of this sort of stuff where a good friend of mine, Sean, who's a regular on this show, enlightened me and made me understand, and you have a similar sort of vision with that. So we spoke about exactly the rituals and the way they run the world. I want to speak about, not in depth, but I want to speak about the people that don't understand. What is their prime goal of doing what they do? What is their main objective in doing all these rituals? Like you said, so many things we see now, like these celebrities doing these signals and signs, and like kids, bro, we're just looking exactly what they mean.
Yeah.
Why do you think they're doing this stuff, and what is it that they're trying to achieve in the world today?
Let's talk about the most recent ritual that's just happened globally,
Exactly.
yeah?
Yep.
Oliver Tree was unalived in a helicopter crash, yeah? Did you hear about this situation?
course I have,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So he was unalived in a helicopter crash. 333 weeks before, Kobe Bryant was also unalived in a helicopter crash. Very symbolic numbers, yeah? At the time of Oliver Tree's unaliving, he had 3.3 million followers on Instagram. Again, a reference to 33. He was about to be 33 years old. He was actually 32. He had 126 posts on his Instagram, yeah? Kobe Bryant was unalived on the first month, 26th day. So 126, 126. Cool. The day before Oliver Tree was unalived in a helicopter crash, a woman was chucked off of a bridge without a bungee cord attached to her.
I saw that.
On a bridge called Skeleton Bridge. Okay, so this at the same time, Katy Perry is performing in a massive eye in the football. And I am so not a football person. Yeah, you might see me in my roster football top today, but that's for the culture. I don't know nothing about the football, but I'm hearing so much. There's so much politics going on with this already. Like this, it's crazy. So why, for instance, have they done this with Oliver Tree? Well, what happened last time with Kobe Bryant? Yeah, let's think about it. 333 weeks ago, when Kobe Bryant was unalived in a helicopter crash.
Yep.
A month later, the biggest attack on humanity happened. Yeah, the pandemic. Okay. So, Kobe Bryant is unalived. About a month later, the whole world changed. I'm predicting we're about to go into the second stage of something called Agenda 21. And this ritual, especially that is charged up with the football, we're about to see a major shift and development towards the New World Order. These are all terms I'm sure your audience would have at least heard of it. George Bush was talking about this. George Bush Sr. was talking about this. A New World Order, a fourth industrial revolution.
Yeah.
It's going to be basically a satanic AI, central bank digital coin. So everyone's money will be in crypto, but crypto's not bad or good. It's just a technology. Yeah, like the blockchain. It's just the technology.
Course,
how it's
yeah.
used is they're going to eradicate, for instance, like for instance, my mother, okay, she lives in a council house and gets all of her benefits from the council. When they say to her, we now need you to take this medicine, I have to be careful because of the words on YouTube, you're gonna have to take this medicine or we can't give you your benefits anymore. 90% of the people are going to say, okay, then, of course,
exactly.
yeah. We're moving in a time now where Elon Musk, around this whole time, has just become a trillionaire. He's just put the microchip in the first man. I don't know if you saw the video of this black guy walking around. It's important to say, and people should research this, Nostradamus 500 years ago predicted this exact week almost, yeah? And do you know about Nostradamus?
Absolutely, yeah.
He literally predicted there will be this like billionaire evil man that will be bringing in like this transhuman, like robotic kind of world. So the Oliver Tree thing, it just seems like kind of like all fantastical and mad, but everything is deeply coordinated. Everything. Actually, if we can quickly talk about very shortly.
Please do, yeah.
Everything. I wanted I've done this in a few podcasts so people can research it in more depth, but I want to give you a very brief timeline of how they coordinate events to bring about what I consider to be a coup d'etat. And a coup d'etat is an internal civil war. Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to be jumping a bit here, but okay. So let's just say, George Floyd, May 25th, 2020, yeah, was a psychological operation. It wasn't a genuine situation. It was curated on purpose as a piece of theatre to bring about the same energy from 1964 civil rights. I Have a Dream. They want us on the streets talking about black and white issues when they know we're moving into a new cycle and it's just like one love now, humanity, all of that stuff. They're trying to draw us back into duality as much as possible because we're actually moving into a non-dualistic state. Because if we can rise above the duality that's playing out now, you're going to actually this is an amazing time to be alive. But if you get pulled into it and it's like Tommy Robinson against this or black against white, you're going to be in a spiritual war. So they're going to be doing everything they can to draw us into situations of chaos, yeah? 113 people watching live right now. This is amazing.
Brilliant.
So George Floyd's passed away, yeah, the whole world kind of went crazy. Our own kind of version of this was the Southport killer, Axel Ruda Cabana, yeah? The reason I instantaneously knew that was a piece of theatre was because the three girls were doing something to do, they were dancing at an event which had something to do with Taylor Swift. And I don't know if you know about the darkness of Taylor Swift, yeah? She's actually considered to be...
I actually do, yeah.
She's considered to be the daughter of Anton LaVey, who's the person that started the Church of Satan, yeah? You have to look into it and how dark, but she's basically, she's like a high priest witch. She's like Madonna's the main antichrist on the planet, by the way, when it comes to female artists. Taylor Swift is like for the younger generation, yeah? So it was encoded with this Taylor Swift ritual. And that they're trying to bring about this civil war, like, come on. And they're trying to make it seem like me and you as brown people are the problem, yeah? They're trying to make the white middle-class man and working-class man, they're now the new victim. And they're trying to pour in all of these immigrants, yeah, done by design, to destabilize the West. Because they're about to bring in, there's about to be a massive, serious situation. Again, Nostradamus spoke about this. They're going to destabilize the West by bringing in these proxies. A lot of these immigrants aren't actually immigrants. They're like, sleeper cell men. If people are basically people that have been trained to be activated at a certain time. So, what else do we have here? Even right, this is just fascinating. Even Henry Nowak, which was obviously
recently,
this is real recent with the Sikh. No lie, yeah. The audience need to check this out. Almost to the day, people, 50 years before, there was a Sikh that was unalived in the same way that looks identical to Henry Nowak. Just do your research. They're playing games with us, yeah. Henry Nowak passed away on the 3rd of December. December is 12. Remember, I'm into numbers, so 12 is 3. So that means he passed away on the 3rd day on a 3rd month. 3 Mason, 33 vertebrates in our spine. Joshua, Jesus, died at 33. It's very biblical, all of the way they encode these things. And the fact that 50 years before, they know that I just created the story just to be crazy, but it literally looks like the same. Yeah, but he's just got the turban on, okay? The Northern Ireland unaliving. I don't know if the guy actually was unalived, but, there's like a migrant kind of character trying to chop his head off. Yeah. And all of these young men in Ireland are now rioting on the streets. But the police, all they're doing is just putting water canisters on them. This is technology that they had from 1960 with Martin Luther King. Yeah. They were trying to stop them rioters. The reason it's important I've mentioned this is because your audience should look into something called loosh harvesting, okay? Loosh harvesting is the Arsenal thing that just happened. So this is the time that we're recording this. It's June 2026, yeah, and Arsenal just won this massive, I don't know nothing about football, bro, but I think they won the Championship or something,
they won
yeah.
the Premier League, yeah.
And
no Champions League yet.
Men were on the streets, yeah. Men were on the streets going crazy over this, yeah. Bearing in mind, the Jeffrey Epstein files this year or last year were also released, and I don't see that same level of resistance and passion. We're talking about top-level politicians being named. Our own prince of this country is clearly a PDF file, but yet everyone was on the streets, yeah, for this loosh harvesting energy. So loosh harvesting means they've collected maybe 1 million people on the street, yeah, for what's called bread and circuses, yeah. In the Roman times, if they wanted to change law or do something to like that the public wouldn't agree with, they would put on a massive event, yeah, give them free bread and put on a circus. So while everyone's focusing on this, the government are changing the laws so that children can then override their parents in school and get a bioweapon inside them if the parents didn't even want it. They did that with the last World Cup, yeah? Called Gillian Hicks, check that out. So all these people, Arsenal guys, are going nuts on the streets, and then a week later, a massive ritual happened, almost a beheading, Oliver Nowak. I don't know, it was around this time. And it was a full moon, yeah? Or it was a new moon, one of the two. So when you look at these major events, look at the astrology. Lunatic. They know how it can affect your brain and your mind and the magnetic field in your body. So they do these events, ritualistic events, all encoded with numbers like 33, like I've shown you. Also, this is another crazy thing. When, what's his name? Oliver Tree was unalived. At the same moment, Cristiano Ronaldo, whatever his name is, he got 666 followers, 666 million followers on Instagram. Now, he's the biggest football player, and this is the biggest football event. And this is not at the last time before Agenda 30 starts, which is in 3 years, where the whole world will be looking at one thing. And then that's a clear sign how encoded it is with Satanism. So are you starting to see slightly how numbers and events and dates are all coordinated to bring about some kind of shift in society?
insane. You know what got me? I think the thing that got me the most, I'm a football fan. And the fact that you said, obviously, the way everyone got together with the whole celebrations, and then at the same time, you're seeing all these crazy events unfold literally just a few days later.
Earthquakes in the Philippines, major disturbances. There's something called, I've termed it as trauma stacking, okay?
Yeah.
There's so much trauma we're seeing in the news, in the world, and in our own personal lives right now, as we're just trying to survive in this system, just trying to pay our gas and electric, which we don't even have to pay as sovereign beings. There's so much trauma that we just forget stuff. Like, but we just forget that, you know, oh my God, like there was someone almost beheaded in Northern Ireland. Most people have literally almost forgot that already, and it was only a few days ago. You know, and it's the brain, it's the way that we've been desensitized now because of Netflix and murders and, you know, slasher films, that something's actually like biologically slightly damaged in a lot of people's brains. And we're going to speak about water in a minute. If you're just drinking tap water or bottled water,
Go for that now, because I was quite interested in, you know, if you can't see,
okay, yeah.
Indy's brought a lot of his equipment with him, and he did say he's going to do something for the first time on my podcast show, so let's go for it, brother.
All right, so water. I think we're 80% water, right?
Join you on that.
Yeah. So this is important, deep information I'm going to share with you now, yeah? And it sounds really kooky, but this is a third spiritual war that we've entered, okay? And two of the biggest defenses we can have is making sure that the water we have is alive. Yeah, it's all good having clean bottled water, but first of all, the amount of microplastics in this is insane.
Damn.
If you can see this on the camera, it says Evian, yeah? TikTok, you can see this, yeah? 150 people. Evian, yeah? Evian, spelled backwards, says naive, yeah? These occultists are laughing in our face. Evian, backwards, spells naive, okay? So, I always tell people, first and foremost, yeah, you should distill your water. Obviously, if you're just on the streets, this is the best you're going to get, fine.
Of course.
Yeah? I would advise Saka if you're going to get a water.
What about a glass bottle?
Glass bottle's good as well. Yeah.
Better than that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a few brands that are glass bottles, yeah? But okay, and I'm not getting paid, and I don't work for this company, and there's no promotion. I'm not doing this for any other reason, and I think everyone needs to know this knowledge, yeah?
Good.
Truly. And I have met the scientist. So, okay, cool. This is water. It's the cleanest version you can get from the shop, but there's so much more that we can do to this to make it alive. First of all, people need to know what a distiller is. Yeah, you know what a distiller is? Okay. A distiller is a machine. You pour the water in. So even bottled water, I pour it in, but you can even do tap water. Yeah, all the tap water will become perfect. Pour it in, and basically it boils it, and all the steam and vapors rise. And what it does is it collects the steam and vapors, moves it along the tube, and then drip by drip, it refills it. And then the water goes from there to there. That's all it does. Okay. All the impurities, all the dark nastiness, the cocaine, the estrogen, the fluoride, all of that is left, and it is disgusting. You open, like literally, you can go up your fingers, and it's like muck. So that's in your water all the time. It's just because it's invisible, don't think you can't see it. It's all in there, yeah? And it's literally, like, I'll have to send you a video. It's like muck, yeah? So now you've got, let's just imagine for the purposes now that this is distilled clean water, yeah? Your water's now completely fresh.
Yep.
But it's like a computer. It's like, it's got no data in it. It's unalive, yeah? So this is a machine. It's called a blood ionizer. Inside it has a copper coil, and it's surrounded by magnets and shungite crystals. And this basically creates a magnetic field. So I'm going to show you and I'll pour it in.
Please do.
What this does is it basically makes your water come alive again. It restructures it, yeah? Have you ever heard of a book called The Signs in Water, I think, called by Dr. Emoto?
I haven't, brother. I'll be real.
It was a Japanese scientist, one of the first ones to do this. He froze water in different states, yeah? He got 3 glasses of water. The water on the left, he wrote the word hate on. The water in the middle, he wrote love on, and the water in on the end, he did nothing. And then he froze it, and then, and this is distilled water, yeah? Under a microscope, the word hate looked like, it literally almost looked demonic. It was like just patches and nasty blotches, yeah? Of course, the water where he's put the word love on was literally like snowflakes, yeah? And this is just from intention and words, yeah? It was like beautiful geometric patterns, okay? And the one that he had nothing was just kind of like a bit of just, it wasn't as bad as the first one, but it wasn't harmonized. So that, first of all, that shows you how just put in intention. He's done this with rice, and he's done this with plants as well. Every single time, the plant will flourish, the other one will die, and the other one will kind of just be mid, yeah? So this machine is made by a man called Harry Rhodes, yeah, that works with Tesla technology. I did a whole podcast with him. I want to show you quickly. What it does is, if you can see this, let me see. So it's spinning the water with the copper coil, and because of the magnets around it and the shungite crystals, it's now become alive again. It's basically making the water come alive again. And this is how you get the presence of the Most High back into your water. This is how you get because the water before was satanic. Literally, energetically, it was satanic. It was sitting at the bottom of your council flat or your house in a tank, unalive, dead. Once you've taken all the impurities out, that now, if you was to freeze it, straight away would look like snowflakes. So imagine now if you're 80% water, all the water in your body is now snowflakes, okay? And then there's this machine. They come together, by the way.
Oh, so you buy that with that,
It's a kit, yeah, it's a kit, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah? I bought this myself. I wasn't gifted it, nothing. This machine now makes the water go Super Saiyan. So the water is now clean. And this is all cheap, by the way. People try to sell you Kangen machines and osmosis machines for thousands. This is like, all of this you can get for like £250. Yeah, which is unreal if you think about it, yeah? Because water, anything that's like expensive, cleaning water, I just disagree with. Because me and my mum have deep poverty consciousness. We're from the blocks. If she can't afford it, it's not for me. Yeah, that's the way I think. This now, remember the water is clean. Oh, wow, there's a lot of bubbles coming out already. Don't know if you'll be able to see that. I think they can. Yeah, it's not really focused, but people can see it, yeah? This is trillions, look at that, guys. Trillions of negative electric particles going into the water. So now, the water is negatively charged with hydrogen.
So it wasn't clean in the first.
None of this is cleaning it. So remember the distiller, which I don't have, that cleans your water. Okay. Yeah, that's a machine you can buy for 80 quid. But this is now the process of how you make the water come alive. So boom, you've re-vortexed it, it now looks like snowflakes, and then you put it in this machine for 2 minutes and it fills it. Now let me tell you how powerful this is, because it's all good, but I've seen the experiment. So the scientist that showed me this, he took my blood, he took a fingerprint, like a prick of my blood, put it on a petri dish and put it on a microscope, and we're seeing it on a blackboard behind us. Because of the bioweapon that everyone had in 2020, even if you took it or not now, we're interacting with people that took that medicine, yeah, that the government made everyone take. And there's a lot of spike protein in the blood now, yeah? This basically means the blood cells are all gathering together, and it looks like loads of, like when I saw my blood before drinking the water, my blood cells look like loads of tires, yeah, gathered together. Yeah, 160 people, yes, man, talking about water, baby. All these tires gathered together and the cells were clogged, they couldn't move, yeah? Even in me, and I've not took that medicine, yeah? He goes to me, Indigo, take a sip of this water. This is one of the most powerful moments of my life. I took a sip of the water. The blood, which was on the petri dish outside of my body, instantly changed when I took a sip of the water. Because first of all, your blood is always connected to you. Even if I was in New Zealand and something happened to me, the blood would change, like it would vibrate exactly how I'm vibrating now. So I saw my blood change. The second I took a sip of the water, all of the clogs just went like that, and the blood started to flow. How many people are being unalived in the last 6 years because they've just gone and just collapsed? You've seen it.
Of course.
Yeah? That's because even if they took it or not, the spike protein, the blood's getting gathered together. So that's why I say when I came in, I'm going to talk about water. Water is one of the strongest defenses we have against this system. There's other things as well, of course, but these are the fundamentals. If the NHS aren't telling, the NHS, if you go in there, they're giving you like bottled water and like a cheese sandwich. They're giving you animal products to clean, like to heal yourself. I eat animal products, but it's insane. And so you can imagine. And you know, if you were to take it, it almost smells a bit like it just smells like a fresh volcano, thunderstorm, because it's now charged with electricity. And then that now means every cell in your body has now got this kind of like ability to look like a snowflake again, and then the healing can come. So if you're taking supplements, for instance, but you're just drinking bottled water and tap water, the supplement can't actually work on a cellular level, because remember, it was all like distorted. When the cell looks like a snowflake, you can see how suddenly everything becomes. So that's one of the biggest things that people need to start knowing about. And you can buy this from a website called onlyresultscount.com. I have no code for you, like I said, I'm not here to sell it. No. Onlyresultscount.com.
I'll make sure I add that in.
I'll send it to you, yeah.
And I'll make sure I add that in. Was that sound from your machine?
That was just a sound to say that it's finished. Yeah. Not the camera's still recording. Yeah.
That is mad. I'm going to definitely put that in there so everyone can.
Do you want to have a sip?
No, I'm alright, bruv. I've got my water here.
But yeah, it's a powerful way to start.
So now you're going to start drinking from there, just like that.
Yeah. But all that's happened, if you think about it, it's just been re-vortexed, restructured, and then I put a negative electricity back into it, hydrogen, which is our body is lacking in hydrogen, and is our body. That's why we're getting so many illnesses, so many clogs, problems, tumours, is because of these little micro blockages. So this is one of the first ways to just let the body start to flow again.
I'm definitely going to look into this. Probably
I'll send it to you.
You know, the maddest thing is, because it's mad how now, like I told you, even we buy bottled water, right, and we all believe brands. Don't go for anything cheap. Go for the expensive bottles. And I feel like, the other day someone was telling me how Saka bottles the cleanest water you can buy.
It is, yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah, it's the best pH as well. Like the pH level of it. So I think it's like an 8 or 9, so that's good. But the lower it goes, if it goes acidic, you want to be alkaline, you want to be higher. You don't want acid in the body. So like, I don't even know what Evian is pH level. Don't know if it says it easily.
What's that product placement? So let's just read this one as well.
7.2. 7.2.
Where am I finding this? I've got the Highlands one here.
Yeah, he's got the Highlands spring water. So this is, again, Highland Spring is such an insult because spring water is alive water, yeah? So they've got it from the Highland Springs, but then it's sat in a bottle for months, maybe even years, making it then dead, stagnant, especially in a plastic bottle. So again, you have to... I've only just got my mum on this. She was distilling her water for years, and then I've told her about these machines, and she was like, oh, I don't know. And I said, Mum, do you love yourself? Because if you love yourself, you're going to start doing this. And my mum's got a lot of health problems, and already she's like, her energy's returning, stuff like that, just from water.
So this is a lot of rubbish.
All bottled water. All bottled water. It's all dead. It's all dead. It's not that it's rubbish. That's better than drinking tap water, but it's all dead. It's like if you like.
There's no good in it.
If you was to put it under a microscope, like I said, it would just look all distorted. It wouldn't look like a snowflake. If you was to go to Glastonbury, which I often do, if you've ever been to the Thor and there's like loads of springs, if you was to freeze that, it would all look like geometric patterns because it's alive. It's been moving. It's never stopping. Like river water, it's all alive. Do you know what I mean?
That's mad. I mean, not a lot of people actually take this sort of stuff seriously. Let's be honest. A lot of people, they'll hear something like this, but because it's like a procedure, it's so weird to say, we haven't been taught this, but because we've been doing it all our life. Just get a bottle of water, drink it, and we feel like water's...
Seriously.
Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly how the way we've been taught, not just in schools, but even what we watch on TVs, it just seems normal, doesn't it, bro? Just grab a bottle of water and drink it. And I think that's how our mindsets need to start thinking about clean vibes. I think a lot more people are now getting onto organic food, for an example. I read a review the other day, and since then I've actually started doing it, is that supermarkets, fruit and veg is complete rubbish, bro. And I didn't ever look into it. I'm being honest about it. Yeah. Now when I'm feeding my children, I'm trying to get them the most organic sort of things I can find. Like even with the milk, all these things are coming out to the surface now, and I feel it's very similar to all this water situation. Yeah. And the supermarkets are probably in charge of all this.
The supermarkets are there to kill us. Look at Aldi, Lidl, put the word die in it. Yeah. And they're literally... when I go into Lidl, and I shop in these places when I have to, I'm from the...
You have to, yeah.
But I'm slowly doing it less and less. Like I've just found an amazing farm where I get my actual milk from like beautiful cows, which are like grass fed. And it tastes amazing. And like, the government...
Is it completely different?
Yeah, and also there's a process where I think they don't pasteurize it or something. So when you're getting your milk from the shop, you shouldn't even touch it, because they do a process to it which takes away all the good part of like the animal, and then you're left with like just the worst part. So when I go into Aldi and Lidl, I'm like, how and anywhere, even Spain, anywhere, like how do they have so much like strawberries and they're all like perfect? It's just so fake at this point. And when you do have like a strawberry from someone who's actually grown it in their garden or something, you can just taste it. Life is about how much chi can you cultivate in your food, because there's an inner light within us. Every cell has an actual own. It's got its own like little sun. We actually have an aura. You can actually capture it on certain light. Yeah. So you need to have foods that are as close to being alive as possible, and not cooking them too. And by the way, I'm someone that ate Morley's chicken and chips, basically my entire 20s, and not even up until recently. But I was watching a guy called Dr. Yarki Awakened, highly recommend him. I was going online because my mum's got breast implants that exploded in her. So I was using my social media kind of following to try and see if anyone could give me some advice. And over 1,000 people recommended this one man called Dr. Yarki Awakened, this black guy with tattoos on his face, and he's from America. I won't say the words, but he's basically healing every kind of problem that humans have through just the right knowledge and herbs and healing. And he said one thing. He said, if you've got a nervous system that doesn't feel safe, and I haven't really, my nervous system never really feels totally safe, because the life I've lived, I kind of lived on the edge. I was saying earlier, I've lived in like safe circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's only starting to feel safe now. He said, you've got to stop having so much meat, because basically it's like, regardless of if you're a meat eater or not, like you're just having something which has died, and that energy is gonna like wrap itself around your nervous system. And so just for the last 2 weeks, first time ever, I've not had any meat. I'm astral projecting, I'm dreaming for the first time ever, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, because I had all of this density in me stopping my aura from being able to go through the firmament, like to be able to actually leave this realm, because you know, whether you believe it or not, when you're dreaming, it's not in your mind. You're actually going somewhere, and so it was just like, wow. So, and I might have meat again. I'm not. This is no judgment to anyone.
Of course.
It's just saying, wow, like I just stopped eating meat, and suddenly I've got all this energy, and I'm able to dream and like have that deeper thoughts, and it was kind of just fascinating. And it's like, okay, now I can play with this. Now I can like eat less meat and do more spiritual work, maybe. So yeah.
That's mad. That's mad. You know, like, I think a lot of people, like I said to you before, bro, before we were even off camera, I was saying a lot of the stuff that is the truth, it's not seen as the truth in the way we, you know, see life in every walk of life. You know, like you said about cultures and the way they're trying to portray the media and all this sort of stuff. And I just feel like there's a spiritual thing in all this. It's not something that, you know, we don't grow up hating each other. No one grows up hating each other. But all of a sudden, everyone's, you know, beliefs in, even with food, it goes for everything, bro. They have a view on everything where they believe something completely different to you, but we all take in the same air, we all eat the same food. But it's just because of this whole stuff of how much it affects you in our brains, bro. Like with the meat stuff you just said now, I know a lot of people that are vegetarian. They say to me, bro, you know, if you don't eat meat, you'll be a lot fitter, a lot more energetic. But we've been told to eat so much meat, go to the gym, and you're not going to grow if you don't go to the gym. And you've got to eat 3-4 steaks.
You know, I think I've come to the realization.
Yeah.
A lot of people say we're all one, right? We're all one. I don't actually think we're all one. I think we come from different like root races, maybe even different star systems. Like when I look at some like really tall, like pasty Norwedic man, I'm like, I don't know if your ancestors are anything like mine or if you're even like me. It's not that it's wrong. It's just like maybe you need to just eat fish and whatever. And like my ancestors, like I do think, and I think that's why there's so much kind of like division and duality, because like people think, how I do it, it should be how everyone should do it. You know, I've got to the point, I even had a friend recently telling me, oh, Indigo, man, come on, you're amazing. Like, you shouldn't be drinking, like, the cow's milk. Because I uploaded where I got my cow's milk from. And I just thought, don't project your life on me, man. I'm a Buddhist, and I think everyone should, like, it would be amazing if everyone could see life the way I do. But I've never once gone to someone, you need to be Buddhist. Never. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of people come to me, then we join and we create a Sangha, which is a group of believers. But when, like, the audacity for me to say, oh, I don't think you should be a Muslim, or, you know, don't get me wrong, I like to expose the flaws in religions, yeah. So, like, I come for the false white Jesus character a lot, yeah. Joshua ben Yosef, or, you know, however you want to call him, all day long. But the false Jesus character was created by the Roman Empire. It's like, so there's a laziness, and I'll come for that always, because my ancestors were whipped and told to believe in that character that didn't even exist. And now my great grandma, all them years on, still believes in this fallacy. It's so like I come like I'm quite blunt and militant.
You are.
But there's a difference between being blunt and militant. But in a way, that's me being kind. It's not kind for me to allow someone to believe in an actual lie. I'm not an Islamic, so I can't comment on that. But when I see my black grandma praying to a man that was created by Leonardo da Vinci, I will never let you stop. I'm gonna never stop telling you, stop, Nan. Do you know what I mean? My grandma's dead now, but that's what I would have. You know what I mean? I would have if she was still here. I didn't know this when I was young, you know. But yeah,
that's mad. I feel like, you know, with you've been through so much. Like, obviously, this stuff you can't learn overnight, bruv. You know, and with you, if people have watched your videos and they've seen the way you are, you're just a genuinely, you know, nice person that just has a really nice energy. And sometimes when you're coming across on your content, what I've noticed is, you know, like every bit of content you put out, you're going to get people hating on that. You're going to have people. How do you normally deal with people that start giving you that sort of hate and that energy? Because they're not, like you said, but a lot of the stuff you said, especially the Henry Nowak post you put up very recently, got a lot of engagement. And a lot of it was negative, a lot of it was positive. How do you normally deal with the negative side of people that don't kind of understand the way you think? Because the way you think, it isn't the average person's thinking.
Yeah.
They're very, like I said, they're caught up in the system. Whether it's their fault or not, that's just, you know, something they can answer.
Yeah.
How do you normally deal with that sort of stuff? Does it play up in your conscience? Does it?
Yeah. I'm a human, man. So it's like, first of all, I'm learning more and more to not get involved in the comment section. Don't go in there. Especially when, like, you know, because at first I might drop a piece of content and the first hour I'm in the comments, but then by the end of the day it's got like 1,000 comments, and it's actually impossible for me to be, yeah, or to even engage in it. And my life, and I recognize it, I don't do it on purpose, but if there was a stampede, this is like the average NPC or the person that doesn't even know what's happening in this world. If there was a stampede of buffalo, I'm like standing on my own, facing it, walking into it. That's how it feels, my life. And any trailblazer or black sheep like me will know what I mean. If society is heading this way and doing everything that the government say, and we're like the one person saying no, and so there's going to, for instance, if I say the day that Henry Nowak's story came out, I said, oh, it's a lie, or the day George Floyd went, I was like, oh, he's an actor, he's a Freemason, look at his tattoo. I said it the very first day. I was involved in the African and Caribbean heritage group in London, in England, basically as a Buddhist, Almost all of them black people didn't speak to me for a while. Because they're thinking I'm like going against the black man, like we should be standing up against the white man here. And I'm like, no, you're being played. All of this is a game. Don't get me wrong, almost all of them now want to speak to me and are friends with me because it's all been exposed that a man called George Soros, who is a Jewish guy, is the one that funds Black Lives Matter. You ever heard of him?
Yes, I have.
So it's all a game, and it's all come out. The three main people in Black Lives Matter were like, they're all like millionaires living their best life. So everyone, people know now. You have to be willing, and I have to be willing to have no friends, stand on my own, and know that my mission is more important than being appeasing to anyone or being flattered by anyone. And I've got 2 or 3 or 4 ridiculously strong connections, and that's all I'll ever need. Like, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people, and if I was to walk down Brixton, I'm being stopped all the time, whatever. But my actual circle, tight. Good. Yeah, because and that's how it always should be. Even up until last year, I had business partners that I was crying on their bosom, and I loved them like a sister, and they snaked me. Yeah, and you're like, wow, like, okay, like, oh, damn. And even at this time when I feel like I know who I am and I can trust people, and you realize people have different intentions, or they're dealing with traumas, and then, or they're using you. I've been used a lot for not realizing it just because of the way I look. It's always cool to be around the guy with a 6-pack who's like bouncy and stuff, you know. But when I divert my energy somewhere else, you can see some people start getting weird. It's been a process of refining what I allow in my environment and really and trusting my instinct, you know. Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. The fact that you said, you know, friends and people like that, I think we all go through it, bro. It's a part of life where I feel as you grow older, I always say people evolve. Yeah. It's funny, I was talking about it on a podcast the other day, and it's crazy the people we call our friends today, we just don't know about tomorrow, bruv. Especially with your, you know, practicing. A lot of people will start looking at you now thinking he's gone militant. You know, he's gone into something that, you know, he's actually lost in the head.
Yeah,
when they start seeing you grow, like you were telling me off camera, they're all coming back to you, bro. Yeah. And it's mad because, you know, it's funny because when you mentioned about, could you post my business now? They're not now looking at the fact that you kind of lost that relationship.
Yeah.
But now they're going to try to get back into you. And, bro, you know what? Before we wrap up, I just want to say, is there anything you'd like to leave a message for your followers who have been following you and, you know, giving you all the positive feedback? And I'm one of them now.
Thank you.
Just a message to all your lovely supporters and people that give you that love and affection online.
Well, to both cameras, I've got 141 here, and to everyone on YouTube.
By the way, it's the first time someone's ever gone live on TikTok.
Yeah,
so
no, this is the King
respect
Yazz.
to everyone that's
thank you everyone for being here.
God bless you all.
For anyone that resonates with me, thank you for thank you for the people that take the time to send me a DM and like just to say, like, I've been getting a lot recently from men, which is amazing for me because I've had a lot of support from women, and men have found me quite threatening, I think, in the past. And a lot more men are starting to just reach out and say thank you. So that for them people, thank you. And I'm a black sheep, yeah. And also this is why this has been sitting here the whole time, yeah. This is my new audio book. So for anyone that resonates with me, this is called the Black Sheep Survival Guide for those who see too much. And I'll give you the website, yeah. It's called 5amcreatives.co.uk. It's with a 5. And I've wrote this for the people that are finding it hard to navigate because there's a lot of people like me that are deep thinkers and but they're alone. And every single time you speak up, you're shut down and you have to appease for people. You're at the family dinner and like everyone's like, yo, you can't come to grandma's house because you're different to us and you might make her ill, for instance. There's been such an attack on the black sheep in the last 6 years that I've done this audiobook and to give a bit of hope. And it's basically my life and all of the different spiritual techniques which I've had to use to get through some of the most like traumatic and mad situations. But more than ever, it is a time to just be your raw and authentic self. Like I think one of the biggest things we can do right now and to contribute is to change ourselves because we are actually the microcosm of the macrocosm. We're reflections. The whole universe is actually in us. We are the microcosm. So when, instead of trying to change the world and stuff, the best thing we can do is change ourselves. This is what I was saying earlier about this concept of Kosen Rufu.
Yep.
As Buddhists, we believe the best way the world is going to change is when each individual person awakens to who they are. Because then your family will change when you change.
Yep.
And then your street will change, literally. The street
course.
you live on.
Absolutely,
The
bro.
town will change. And eventually that's how you ripple out. And never forget, one individual person can make a ridiculous change. It's not about nobility or royalty or any of that stuff. Like, we are all fractals of the Most High. And the quicker we believe that, and also just like trust, surrender that we are co-creating this moment with something higher, and strengthen your connection to God. If you're a Muslim, do your 5 prayers. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? If you're, for me, like, I'm chanting an hour a day. Like, this is a spiritual war, and we are up against a very, very satanic PDF system, and it's not a joke. Yeah, you either roll with us or get rolled over. We didn't speak about it maybe another time. Learn about the straw man, learn about your sovereignty, because there's going to be a point where they're going to literally, basically just chip you. And if you haven't been making preparations now to be self-efficient and to make sure you've even got some solar panels and some water and some tins, never forget what happened in 2020 with the rice, with the petrol, with the toilet roll. That was all done on purpose to prepare us for a major blackout, which is going to happen. So yeah,
Bro, honestly, I could hear you all day, bro. I could hear you literally. I was telling you offline that, you know what? When I get into these conversations, bro, I lose track of time.
Same,
I don't know
yeah.
where
They're
the
great.
time's gone.
Yeah.
It was such a flowing conversation. And before you go, bro, thank you so much for coming down. You're one of the, you know, for me personally, one of my favourite podcasts I've ever done. And I'm not just saying
thank
that.
you, thank you.
I'm on my, 88th episode now. I'm probably my...
80th.
88th. So...
88, what a number.
There you go.
Wow.
So there you have it, guys. That was the amazing Indie live on the
127.
Podghost podcast. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. All of Indie's links will be in the description below. Make sure you show the guy love. He's someone that, you know, speaks out the truth, and that's exactly why I put him on the show. So there you have it, guys. Peace, love. We're out. Until next time. And if you want another episode with Indie himself, I'm sure to hit him up on his DMs.
Yeah, man.
And say, get back on the Podghost. So
Yeah, man.
take care, man. Peace.